You ever try to order a print or a design from a print shop, and then when they made it for you, it came out like super blurry? It did not look like the image that you found on the internet. Well, that's because the image was probably about this small. So I'm making this video is to show you why, and also how we make our designs. Got an order that just came in, and I thought this is the perfect time to show everybody how much work actually goes into the design part of making custom shirts. Two programs I use, Photoshop and Illustrator. I'm going to show you how I'm about to recreate this. So my client sent me this, and this image, it looks cool. Most likely they just took a screen capture of it, or they found this image off of Google or wherever, somewhere online. So my job today is to recreate this whole design, and I'm going to use Photoshop in order to make the skull graphic, and then I'm going to use Illustrator to lay out the text, and then it'll be done, and I'll get it printed and put on a shirt for them. Well, in order to start this, we're going to need a skull, and then what I did was I went in and I kind of added cracks to it, just to mimic the look of this skull right here in this design. First things first, I need to make a copy of these. And then after I make the copy, I'm going to merge those two layers together. From here, what we got to do is three different things. One, we have to mess with the contrast. There's a lot of grays in this skull, and then I'm going to blur it all, and then from there I'm going to put an American flag over the skull, and instead of just placing the American flag on top of the skull, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that American flag graphic and I'm going to wrap it around this image. And so the technique is called a texture wrap, and here's how you do it. Go to adjustments and go to my levels, and I'm going to make the darks darker and the lights lighter. And so what happens is you see that gray kind of wash that's over the skull. By playing with the contrast, I've now eliminated that and made it pop just a little bit more. And once I'm here, what I want to do is I want to go to filter and go to blur and use Gaussian blur. And trial and error, I've found that for this effect, around 5.6 works. But every image is different, and sometimes you have to go up a little bit, but you never want to exceed 9 pixels. The happy medium is between 5 and 9 pixels. After that, I got to go to File, then Save. And what I want to do is save this, and I'm going to call it Map. Next filter is we're going to use Distort, and we need a Distort map in order to create the texture wrap. A lot of words, but if you follow along, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to call this Map 2, just for the sake of this video, and then we're going to click OK. After that, what I want to do is I want to undo the blur, and then I'm going to place an American flag. I have this American flag right here. I like it. It's distressed, but what I'm going to use is the PNG version of it, and the reason why I'm using the PNG version versus the JPEG version, the JPEG has a white background. The PNG, it was saved with a transparent background, meaning there's no white. There's no white. So all I'm going to do now is just rotate this, transform it, flip it horizontally, and then I'm going to stretch it and make it wrap and cover the entire skull. And when I'm happy with the results, I click OK. It's there. Now from there, I'm going to outline this skull, and I'm going to make a mask. So basically removing all the extra parts of the map or the flag that I don't want. You know, a lot of people could just put an overlay filter on this or a hard light filter, but if you do that, it doesn't really wrap. Those little graphics aren't wrapping around the skull like they need to. So the next step for me is I'm going to take this image and I'm going to go to filter and go to distort and displace. And from there, I found that these settings right here at 10, they work, but we can jump it up to, let's say 25 and click OK. And we're going to click Map 2 and click OK. And then, did you notice the shift? How all that kind of just moved? Well, what it's doing is it's taking those pixels and it's actually wrapping it around the skull. And so now if we go to the blend mode and we go to overlay or hard light, you can see that it's actually wrapping. These lines are actually contouring to the skull. So from there, it doesn't really look right yet. We're going to have to change some of the blend settings. So I'm going to double click and go into my layer styles, and I'm going to blend those whites down and make those blacks pop out through. So from there, now it's really looking like it's actually sitting on the skull, and it's not just floating and just placed on it. And so another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that so I really make those colors pop a little bit more. And then I'm going to lower the opacity just a tad bit, so it really makes this image pop. And then from there, what we're going to do is make a new layer, because in the original image, the eyes are black, the nose is black. So we're going to have to do that. So I'm going to grab my brush right here and go inside, and I'm using opacity around 75. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to brush out the eyes. And I'm using a softer edge brush. That way it's kind of blurring the blacks and it's not just a straight cut of black. I'm going to go over to this eyeball and do the same thing. I'm going to go to the nose, do the same thing for the nose. When we get out, this is starting to look creepy, really cool. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give an inner shadow to the head. And yeah, you can see that trial and error. I've already kind of set this file up to do that. Let's lower the opacity a little bit, choke it out a little bit more. And so there you have it. Now we have a finished graphic that started off like this and now looks like this. Pretty cool. Follow me over. We're going to go to Illustrator and finish setting up the document, and then we'll be done. And so now we're over in Illustrator. And as you can see right here on my screen, I've already pulled over the reference image, the image that the client wanted. And for the sake of time, I already filled out the text, try to match it to the font that they picked. And I think I got pretty close. And now next step is File, Place, and we're going to place that image that we just made, that graphic. And we're going to fill it within that spot right there. This is going on a black shirt, so that's why I know you might be looking at this and think, well, hey, it's white. No, it's going to be saved with no background. But just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like on a black shirt. And so that's what it's going to look like when it finally gets on that black shirt. So I'm just going to delete that black square, and we're going to select everything, and then we're going to make it all center aligned. So this is how, when you pick a Yodee and Yodee charges you a design fee, this is why. It takes me some time to recreate images for people. And that way you know it's custom. This is not copyright. This is copyright free. I might have used that design to base your design off of, but this is an original piece. Whereas if I would have just grabbed this image right here and put it on a shirt, that's stealing. That's not good. So again, when you pick Yodee, you're getting truly custom orders. And remember, if you're ever in need, call Yodee.